Today, we are going to learn how to identify chords. You will need a notebook, a pencil, and staff paper. Let's review. Last class, we learned about the scales, and we know that in A major, the note A is scale degree 1. Also, we learned that A, C sharp, E is an A major chord, and that B, D, F sharp is a minor chord. So, when we look at chords in A major, if it has A, C sharp, and E, is it a major chord or a minor chord? Think about the intervals. Is it a major third on bottom or a minor third on bottom? And then, is it a minor third on top or a major third on top? For the next one, it's B, D, F sharp. Again, think about where the major and minor thirds are. And we're going to keep going and identifying the notes to every chord. And when we're finished, we are going to identify whether it's a major or minor chord and write the name of it down. All right, so A, C sharp, E, we know that is a major chord. So it's an A major chord. And keep on doing this for the rest of the line. Notice that for the second last chord, this one right here, that there's two minor thirds. And think back to what it means to have two minor thirds stacked on top of each other. We know it has to be called G sharp something, but is it major, minor, or something else? Something else, good. So when thinking back, we know that two minor thirds stacked on top of each other is a diminished chord. And we show that with a little 0 on top. And last, this is an A major chord. These are the correct answers from the slide before. Next, we're going to take these names and what we've learned with scale degrees and turn them into numerical chord names. Using what we know from the last lesson, we know that in A major, A is scale degree 1. Using this idea, now, an A major chord is going to be known as the 1 chord. And to write that, you're going to use a capital 1 in Roman numerals. So your options are going to look like this: a capital 1, a lowercase 2, a lowercase 3, capital 4, capital 5, lowercase 6, lowercase 7 with the 0 on the top indicating that it's diminished, and then going back to a capital 1. We use uppercase and lowercase numbers to indicate whether it's a major chord or a minor chord, and this will make more sense on the next slide. Before we move on, write on top of the staff the root note or the lowest note of the chord. So in this first case here, notice that the lowest note is what? A. So write A on top of the staff. And continue going on this for the rest of the chords. Good. Now, what do you notice about the roots of all of these chords? The roots of all the chords spell out the scale. Now, next to it, right on the left, right here, write down the scale degree number. Good. So the scale degree number of the note is going to correspond with the number for the Roman numeral. So we know that A is the first scale degree of the scale, and if it's an A major chord, we know that it's going to be a capital 1. For the scale degree 2, it's B, but it is a minor chord, which means it's got to be a lowercase Roman numeral, so it'd be lowercase 2. Continue on with this for the rest of the scale. These are the correct answers from the slide before. Now, notice that instead of using an 8 here, we use a 1 because scales keep going and they repeat. So you're not going to continue on with the notes as 8, 9, 10, and so forth. You're going to keep repeating the 1, 2, and 3 and keep going with that. Okay, let's practice. First, I want you to identify what the key signature is over here. And then using the root of the chord, I want you to write the root of the chord name on top of the staff. And then when you're finished with that, in the top left, like we did in the other slide, write the scale degree. Next, I want you to identify the names of the chords given. And finally, I want you to try to get the correct Roman numeral on the bottom. Notice that there are 2 different key signatures, so make sure that you're aware of that. This is what your slide before should look like. Using the worksheet provided in class, complete the letter names, as in like the G major, and the numerical names, so 1, and fill out the sheet. On top of the staff, don't forget to include the root note and the scale degree for the root note. Looking ahead, be prepared to know that we are using the chord progression given to identify chords and create a melody. So we are going to be taking the chord progressions that we are going to be learning and the chords that we're learning and put them into GarageBand and create a melody for it, and it'll go towards a video. So make sure that you're studying and you're doing all of your homework. See you guys soon.